There's a number appearing to millions of people every single day. Most dismiss it as curious coincidence. But for those who know the Hermetic tradition deeply, this number carries a very specific signature, a signature that goes back 2,700 years of documented history. I'm talking about 444. Now, before we go any further, I need you to understand something critical. There's a window of opportunity open right now, but only until the winter solstice. If you're seeing 444, you have days left to build the foundation before the portal fully opens. Most people will see the signs, but only a handful will actually be prepared to step through the gateway. And here's what nobody tells you. The biggest regret isn't failing, it's realizing the opportunity existed after it's already closed. At minute 23 of this video, I'm going to reveal what the Corpus Hermeticum teaches about the 7 planetary spheres your soul must traverse, and how Thoth's number connects directly to this ascension process. That moment will make everything click in a way you've never experienced. But to get there with solid foundation, we need to start with the real historical origin. And I promise you, what I'm about to share is not New Age fantasy. It's verified ancient tradition that changes everything. My commitment to you, serious student of Hermeticism, is verifiable information, not channeled inventions, not pseudo-history disguised as mystery, but authentic tradition with sources you can check yourself. Because Thoth was the Lord of Truth, and honoring him requires precision. So let's cut straight to it. The number 4 isn't just another generic angel number from the internet. 4 was the sacred number of Hermes, documented in the Homeric hymn number 4, written around the 7th century before Christ. This ancient Greek text explicitly states that Hermes was born on the 4th day of the lunar month. And because of this, every 4th day of every month was dedicated to Hermes celebrations in ancient Greek traditions. This isn't modern interpretation. These are historical records preserved for nearly 3 millennia. You might be asking yourself, why does this matter today? Why should a number associated with a Greek god have relevance for someone studying Egyptian tradition? And this is where the story gets fascinating. When Alexander the Great conquered Egypt in 332 BCE, something extraordinary happened. The Greeks recognized in the Egyptian god Thoth the exact same qualities as their own Hermes. Both were divine scribes, both mediated between the world of gods and the world of mortals. Both governed writing, knowledge, magic, the measurement of time, and then the syncretism occurred. Thoth and Hermes merged into a single figure, Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great. And with this fusion, the numerical signature of Hermes the 4 also became Thoth's signature. When you see 444, you're seeing the sacred number of Hermes Thoth tripled, 3 times the 4, the signature of the thrice great intensified. But let's go deeper into Egyptian symbolism of number 4, because the Egyptians had their own profound reasons for considering this number fundamental. In Egyptian cosmology, 4 represents the pillars of creation, the 4 sons of Horus who guarded the vital organs in canopic jars during mummification, the 4 primordial elements, and perhaps most significant, the famous Egyptian sacred triangle with proportions 3, 4, 5. Osiris was the 3, Isis was the 4, and Horus, the son born from their union, was the 5. 4 was Isis, the Great Mother, the foundation upon which creation rises. So when you see 444 repeatedly, you're not seeing random numerical pattern. You're seeing the foundation tripled. The structure, the base upon which something is being built in your consciousness. And if you've been seeing this number with increasing frequency in recent weeks or months, especially now as we approach December, there's a hermetic reason for this. Your soul is being called to build something before the cosmic window opens fully. Now let me clarify something crucial before we continue. There are many modern interpretations about numerology, sound frequencies in hertz, light pyramids in specific physical locations. Some of these interpretations may have practical value for those working with them, but I need to be honest with you, these are 20th and 21st century creations. They're not ancient Egyptian tradition, they're not classical Hermetic doctrine, and in this video, we're working exclusively with what's historically verifiable. The so-called Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean, for example, were written by Maurice Doreal in the 1930s. Thoth's connection to Atlantis doesn't exist in original Egyptian texts. The idea that sacred numbers correspond to specific frequencies in hertz is modern interpretation because Egyptians didn't know the concept of hertz. I'm saying this not to diminish those practices, but so you know exactly what you're working with. Ancient, verified tradition versus contemporary interpretation. What we're exploring today is what the real Hermetic texts say. The Corpus Hermeticum, collection of 17 Greco-Egyptian treatises written between the 1st and 3rd centuries of our era, the Demotic Book of Thoth, real archaeological document translated by academic Egyptologists Yasno and Zauzik, dated to the 1st and 2nd centuries, the Homeric hymns, temple inscriptions, Plutarch, sources you can verify yourself. A fellow seeker wrote to me recently. She said, "I kept seeing 444 everywhere for months. I thought it was interesting, but I didn't act on it. I didn't do the work, and then the window closed. 6 months later, I realized I had missed the most profound opportunity for real growth I'd ever been given. She had seen the call, but she hadn't answered it. Most people miss the call. The question is, will you? So with that foundation established, let's go to the Corpus Hermeticum. The most important text in this collection is the Poimandres, also known as Treatise 1. And in it, there's an extraordinary cosmological description that will help us understand what it means to be seeing Thoth's signature now, especially before December. The Poimandres describes the creation of the cosmos by the nous, the divine mind. And after creating the material world, the creator Nous formed 7 rulers. These 7 rulers correspond to the 7 planets known in antiquity: Moon, Mercury, Venus, Sun, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. Each of these 7 rulers governs a sphere, a circle around Earth, and each exerts influence over the human soul. Now here's where it gets interesting. The Corpus Hermeticum teaches that when the human soul incarnates, it descends through these 7 spheres. And in each sphere, it receives a quality, a passion from that planet. From Saturn, it receives capacity for expansion and contraction, but also tendency toward fear. From Jupiter, capacity for action, but also arrogance. From Mars, vibrational force, but also violence. From the Sun, leadership, but also pride. From Venus, love, but also lust. From Mercury, communication, but also deception. From the Moon, receptivity, but also emotional instability. The soul descends through the 7 spheres, receiving these gifts mixed with vices, and then incarnates in the material world. And here's the crucial part. When the soul is ready to return to the source, to ascend back to the divine, it must make the inverse journey. It must climb back through the 7 spheres. But this time, in each sphere, it must leave behind the negative passion associated with that planet. In Saturn, it abandons fear and falsehood. In Jupiter, arrogance and desire for domination. In Mars, violence and anger. In the Sun, excessive pride. In Venus, uncontrolled lust. In Mercury, deception and manipulation. In the Moon, instability and emotional attachment. Only after purifying itself in each of the 7 spheres can the soul finally reach the 8th sphere, the domain of the fixed stars, and beyond it, the 9th sphere, the domain of sacred silence and complete union with the divine nous. This is the Hermetic path of ascension. This is the real initiatic work. And now connect this with 444. 4 is the number of foundation, structure, base. When you see 444 repeatedly, it may be that your soul is in the process of building the necessary foundation to ascend through one of the 7 spheres. It may be that you're being called to do purification work in a specific sphere. 444 isn't a promise of instant ascension. It's a call to build the base, to do the work, to structure your practice. Ask yourself right now, what if you're seeing these numbers because your soul is being called to the next level? What happens if you ignore the call? What if 6 months from now you realize the window was open and you let it close? Thoth wasn't just the scribe of the gods. He was called calculator of the heavens, counter of the stars, measurer of the earth. He established the cycles of sun and moon. He created the calendar. In Egyptian myth, when Ra, the supreme sun god, decided to retire to the heavens and leave governance of the world, he delegated to Thoth authority over all cycles and measurements. Thoth is the architect of time. He maps when portals open and when they close. And this brings us to December, more specifically to the winter solstice, which occurs around December 21st. In Egyptian tradition, the winter solstice was profoundly significant. It was the moment of Horus's birth. Plutarch, Greek historian of the 1st century of our era, recorded in his writings that Isis, when she realized she was pregnant after Osiris's death, gave birth to Harpocrates, who is Horus the child, around the winter solstice. The winter solstice marks the point in the year when night is longest and day is shortest. It's the moment of greatest darkness, but it's also the turning point. From the solstice onward, days begin to grow again. Light begins to return. Egyptians saw this as the rebirth of the sun, the rebirth of Osiris through his son Horus, the return of light to the world. There are Egyptian temples aligned specifically to capture the rising sun's light at winter solstice. The Temple of Horus, on a hill that became known in antiquity, built around 2,000 years before Christ, was oriented precisely for this moment. Abu Simbel also has solstice alignment. Egyptians didn't celebrate the solstice casually. They built monumental architecture to mark this cosmic moment. And in Hermetic tradition, the winter solstice is considered a threshold moment, a portal between cycles. The veil between physical world and spiritual world was considered thinner at these moments of astronomical transition. Any consciousness work initiated before the solstice is amplified by the solstice. It's like planting seeds before rain. When rain comes, seeds already in the ground germinate with full force. So if you're seeing 444 now, in November, in early December, as we approach the solstice, this may indicate there's work to be done before the portal fully opens. There's foundation to be built. There's structure to be established. There's preparation to be completed. Most people will wait for the solstice, hoping something magical happens automatically. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The solstice is a catalyst. It's an amplifier. It only amplifies what you've already built. But what work? What kind of preparation? To answer this, we need to look at the Demotic Book of Thoth. This is a real Egyptian text, not a modern channeling. It was written in Demotic, the standard form of priestly writing used in Ptolemaic and Roman period Egypt. It survives in more than 40 fragmentary copies on papyri and was academically translated by Richard Jasno and Carl Theodor Zauzich. The Demotic Book of Thoth consists of dialogues between Thoth, called He Who Praises Knowledge, and a disciple, called He Who Loves Knowledge. The text covers various topics: the work of scribes, aspects of the gods, sacred animals, and the Duat, which is the realm of the dead in Egyptian cosmology. And there's something the text emphasizes repeatedly: the study of literary tradition was sacred to Thoth. One of the most important lines in the text is when the disciple, at the end of his instruction, declares, "I will worship your teaching." The knowledge transmitted by Thoth wasn't entertainment. It was object of worship, of reverence, of total commitment. And the text also makes clear that this knowledge wasn't distributed indiscriminately. There were hierarchies. Each person received the level of insight appropriate to their spiritual development. This brings us to a crucial point that the Corpus Hermeticum also teaches. In the Poimandres, there's a clear distinction made between logos and nous. Logos, which we can translate as reason or rational capacity, was given by God to all human beings. All humans possess reason, but nous, the divine mind, the faculty that permits direct knowledge of the divine, was not given to all. Nous was established as a prize to be earned by souls. This isn't elitist doctrine invented modernly. It's what the original Hermetic text states. Nous isn't distributed democratically. It's earned through work, purification, development. And this explains why not everyone who sees 444 will have the same response to this symbol. For some, it will be just curious numerical coincidence. For others, it will be a call that resonates in something deep. The difference lies in the level of nous development. Don't be the one who realizes too late why 444 was calling you. Don't be the person who, 6 months from now, understands that the cosmic architecture of awakening was revealing itself and you dismissed it as random pattern. Thoth, in Egyptian tradition, presided over the weighing of the heart in the judgment of the dead. When a soul died and arrived at Maat's hall, the deceased's heart was placed on a scale. On the other side, Maat's feather, symbol of truth and justice. Thoth observed the scale and recorded the result. If the heart was lighter than the feather, the soul was considered just and could proceed to rebirth. If the heart was heavier, loaded with vices and transgressions, the soul was devoured. But here's the important detail. Thoth didn't judge external actions. He weighed the words. In Egyptian cosmology, words represented the soul's deep intentions, the thoughts that motivated actions. Thoth saw through appearances. He weighed what you intended to do, not just what you did. And this is significant because it shows us that Hermetic work is primarily internal. There's an Egyptian myth preserved in a demotic papyrus called Setne Kaimwaset. In this myth, a man named Setne discovers the existence of the Book of Thoth, a magical grimoire of immense power. He becomes obsessed with finding it. Eventually, through magic and cunning, he manages to steal the book. But the consequences are terrible. He suffers devastating losses. His family is destroyed. And in the end, he's forced to return the book and do penance. The moral of the story, recorded in the text itself. The knowledge of the gods is not meant for humans to possess without proper preparation. Access to higher knowledge comes with proportional responsibility. And this is why Hermetic tradition has always been selective. Not through arbitrary elitism, but through practical necessity. Knowledge without preparation causes harm. So what does it mean, in practical terms, to be seeing 444 now? It means there's an invitation being made, but it's not invitation to spectacular phenomena or instant magical manifestations. It's invitation to the scribe's work, Thoth's work. And this work has very specific aspects. This is the moment where everything I've shared crystallizes into practical protocol. I'm going to give you the December Scribe Protocol. 5 authentic Hermetic practices based on the demotic Book of Thoth and Corpus Hermeticum that prepare your consciousness for the solstice gateway. These aren't invented techniques. They're grounded in 2,700 years of documented tradition. Practice 1. Consistent study. The demotic Book of Thoth emphasizes that study is sacred to Thoth. Not casual study, but committed study. Dedicate daily time to studying authentic Hermetic texts. The Corpus Hermeticum. The original emerald tablet, not modern expanded versions. The Kybalion, which systematizes the 7 Hermetic principles accessibly. Thoth was called Lord of the House of Books. Honoring him means studying, not just feeling. Practice 2. Recording and observation. Keep a journal. Write down your synchronicities. Write down when you see 444. What was the context? What were you thinking? What situation were you facing? The act of writing was sacred to Thoth. He invented writing. He's the divine scribe. You don't need elaborate ritual. You need a notebook and consistency. This is the hidden spiritual engineering that separates those who progress from those who just consume content. Practice 3. Silent contemplation. I'm not talking about complex guided meditations. I'm talking about creating moments of silence for reflection. The Corpus Hermeticum describes supreme knowledge as sacred silence and rest of all senses. It's about creating internal space so nous can emerge. Reserve 15 minutes daily if possible, just to sit in silence and allow insights to come. This is where the cosmic blueprint reveals itself. Practice 4. Rigorous self-examination. In ancient mystery schools, initiation candidates went through intense self-examination process. Ask yourself the difficult questions. Which of the passions from the 7 spheres still dominate me? Am I still governed by Saturn's fear, Jupiter's arrogance, Mars's anger, the Sun's pride, Venus's lust, Mercury's deception, the Moon's instability? Hermetic work is primarily internal. It's about purifying the soul so it can ascend. This is the initiate's threshold you must cross. Practice 5. Conscious solstice observation. On December 21st, reserve a period of quietude and internal observation. You don't need to do anything elaborate. You don't need complex altar or 3-hour ritual. Just be present, be attentive. Recognize this is a moment of cosmic turning, the point where light begins to return. Egyptians built temples to capture this moment's light. You can simply be conscious that this moment is happening. This is when the activation key turns. This is the December Scribe Protocol. 5 practices grounded in authentic Hermetic tradition. Nothing spectacular. Nothing promising magical results in 3 days. But if you apply this consistently, especially during this period approaching the solstice, you'll be building the foundation. You'll be answering 444's call the only way Thoth would respect. Because Thoth doesn't distribute knowledge to entertain. Thoth distributes knowledge to transform. But transformation requires work, requires structure, requires the solid base that number 4 represents. Seeing 444 doesn't mean you're already enlightened. It means you're being called to build the foundations for enlightenment. And there's enormous difference between these two things. Let me be completely transparent with you about something. There are many modern spiritual systems promising that anyone can access any level instantly, that just 3 breaths or 1 visualization are enough to fully activate your Merkaba or open your 3rd eye or access Akashic records. And these promises are attractive because we all want quick results. But Hermetic texts are absolutely clear. There's progression, there's development, there's necessary preparation. Nous isn't given to everyone instantly. It's earned gradually through purification. The soul must ascend through the 7 spheres, leaving behind passions in each one. This doesn't happen in a weekend. This doesn't happen through a single video, including this one. This happens through consistent practice over time. And this truth may be less exciting than promises of instant activation, but it's infinitely more respectful to you and to tradition. Spirituality isn't democratic in the sense that everyone is at the same level simultaneously, but it's democratic in the sense that everyone can progress. Everyone can do the work. Everyone can start where they are and take the next steps. 444 doesn't separate the chosen from the unchosen. It signals who's paying attention, who's tuned in, who's ready to do the work, and here's something crucial to understand. Seeing synchronicities like 444 doesn't require dramatic, impulsive action. What's important is observing and reflecting, not reacting hastily. Thoth was the god of measure and balance. He wouldn't approve hasty conclusions based on numbers seen on clocks. He would approve careful observation, meticulous recording, pondered analysis, and then measured action. The nature of synchronicities, from Hermetic perspective, is fascinating. The Hermetic principle of correspondence teaches that what is above is like what is below. External events can reflect internal states, not through arbitrary magic, but through resonance. Seeing 444 repeatedly may indicate your consciousness is calibrated to perceive patterns that were always present. It's not that the universe is sending numbers specifically to you. It's that your attention is tuned to specific frequencies of perception. Ancient Hermetists would pay attention to repetitive patterns as signs from Nous, divine mind communicating through material reality. But they would also exercise discernment. Not every synchronicity is called to action. Some synchronicities are simply confirmations you're on path. Others are invitations to deepen study. Still others are tests of your ability to maintain balance and not get carried away by unbalanced enthusiasm. So as we approach December, as we approach the solstice, if you continue seeing 444, consider this as invitation to intensify the 5 practices I mentioned, not as sign that something spectacular will happen automatically on the 21st, but as indication this is propitious moment to do internal work that will prepare you for when portals actually open. Because Hermetic portals don't open equally for everyone. They open proportionally to each person's preparation. If you built the foundation, if you did purification work, if you studied and practiced and reflected, then when the portal opens, you cross through. If you didn't do the work, the portal can open and you don't even notice. Or worse, you notice but don't have internal structure to integrate what comes through. Thoth is the guardian of knowledge, but not in the sense that he guards knowledge meanly. He guards in the sense that he ensures knowledge is transmitted to whoever is prepared to receive it. And this preparation isn't determined by social status, political power, or random luck. It's determined by work, dedication, soul purification. It's spiritual meritocracy in the purest sense. Now let me talk briefly about what happens after December. Because there may be expectation that something definitive will happen at solstice, and then it's over. But the solstice isn't an end, it's a beginning. It's the point where light begins to return. It's rebirth. But rebirth implies there's growth ahead. There's development. There's maturation. If you do foundation work now in November and December, what you'll be doing is establishing the base for growth work that will come in following months. January, February, March. The period after winter solstice until spring equinox is period of light's growth. Days get progressively longer, and symbolically, it's period for consciousness growth. But this growth only happens solidly if foundation was well built. 444, Thoth's triple signature, is the constant reminder. Foundation, structure, base. Build well now, and what you raise upon this base will be stable. Build poorly or don't build, and when more intense energies arrive, you won't have where to anchor. You may have noticed that along with 444, other numbers begin appearing frequently. Maybe 1111, or 333, or 777. And there's reason for this within Hermetic cosmology. Each number carries specific vibrational signature. 11, in Hermetic tradition, represents portals between dimensions. 3 represents divine triad appearing in all traditions, synthesis emerging from duality. 7, as we discussed, represents the 7 planetary spheres, 7 rulers, 7 purification stages. When you see multiple synchronistic numbers simultaneously, it doesn't mean you're receiving contradictory messages. It means multiple aspects of your development are being activated at once. 444 may be calling you to build foundation. 1111 may be indicating interdimensional portals are opening in your consciousness. 777 may be signaling you're ready to consciously work with the 7 Hermetic spheres. But here's what's crucial to understand. All these numbers, all these synchronicities are secondary to real work. They're signs, indicators, confirmations, but they're not the path itself. You don't ascend through the 7 spheres simply by seeing 777 on the clock. You ascend by doing purification work the 7 spheres require. Numbers just confirm you're at right timing to do this work. Let me tell you something I've observed in years studying and teaching Hermeticism. There's a repetitive pattern that happens with most people starting the path. They have an initial awakening experience. It might be seeing numerical synchronicities. It might be spontaneous mystical experience. It might be prophetic dream that comes true. This initial experience is powerful. It breaks the materialist worldview. It opens possibility that there are deeper dimensions of reality. And then what happens? Most people spend the next months or years trying to recreate that initial experience. They jump from technique to technique, system to system, teacher to teacher, looking for the next magical moment, the next profound insight, the next spectacular activation. And they get frustrated because experiences become increasingly rare. And eventually many give up, concluding the initial awakening was illusion, or they lost the connection. But what really happened is they didn't understand 444's message. After initial awakening, real work begins, and this work isn't about accumulating spectacular mystical experiences. It's about building foundation. It's about developing consistency. It's about gradually purifying each of the 7 spheres. It's about studying, practicing, reflecting, integrating, day after day, week after week, month after month. Mystical experiences continue happening, but they become more subtle, more integrated, less dramatic externally, but deeper internally. And the person who built solid foundation has structure to integrate these experiences usefully. The person who didn't build foundation becomes dependent on external experiences for validation, and when those experiences don't come, they feel lost. Thoth, as Lord of Measure, teaches us balance. There's place for mystical experiences. There's place for synchronicities and signs, but there's also crucial need for grounded work, systematic study, daily practice, gradual development. The mystic without foundation becomes unstable. The scholar without mystical experience becomes arid. The Hermetic path balances both. And this is especially important to understand now as we approach December and the solstice, because there's expectation in the air. There's sensation something significant is about to happen, and something significant can actually happen, especially if you built necessary foundation. But if you're waiting for the solstice to do the work for you, you'll be disappointed. The solstice is catalyst, it's amplifier, it's moment where energies are especially propitious for transformation. But catalyst only catalyzes what's already present. Amplifier only amplifies what you already built. If you spent November and 1st December weeks doing the scribe protocol I described, studying, recording, contemplating, examining yourself, then the solstice will amplify this work powerfully. Insights will crystallize, patterns will reveal themselves, understandings will deepen. But if you spent this period just waiting for something to happen magically, the solstice will pass and you'll feel you missed something. And then the frustration cycle continues. This is why 444 appears now. It's call to action, to work, to foundation, not to passive waiting. There's another aspect of 444 worth exploring. 4, in sacred geometry, is associated with the square, and the square represents stability, earth, physical manifestation. While triangle represents spirit and ascension, square represents incarnation and grounding. The ancients built on square foundations because the square distributes weight evenly, creates stability. So seeing 444 can also be a reminder that spiritual work needs to be grounded, needs to manifest in your practical life. It's no use having profound insights about Corpus Hermeticum if you can't pay your bills. It's no use understanding the 7 planetary spheres if your relationships are destroyed. It's no use talking about ascension if you can't maintain consistency in life's basic things. Authentic Hermeticism always emphasized the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. If your internal world is truly transforming, this must reflect in external world transformation. Your health should improve, your relationships should deepen or clarify, your material situation should stabilize and eventually prosper. If nothing changes externally while you claim to be undergoing profound internal transformation, there's disconnection that needs examination. 444, a symbol of foundation, reminds us to keep feet on ground while reaching for stars. Thoth was god of heaven and earth simultaneously. He mediated between worlds, and the Hermetic initiate must do the same. Maintain connection with elevated spiritual realities while remaining functional and effective in material world. This is one reason why recording work I mentioned is so important. When you keep Hermetic journal, you don't just record mystical experiences. You also record how these experiences manifest in your practical life. You had profound insight during contemplation? Great. How did you apply that insight in following days? What decision did you make differently? What behavior did you change? What tangible result did you observe? This kind of recording creates bridge between internal and external, between spiritual and material, between theory and practice, and it's exactly the kind of work Thoth, as Lord of Scribes, would value. Not vague notes about felt energy, but precise observations about correlations between internal practice and external manifestation. And here's something few teach but is absolutely crucial. Hermetic work has cycles. There are periods of input where you're studying intensively, absorbing knowledge, doing practices. And there are periods of integration where you need to pause new input and allow what you already absorbed to settle and integrate into your being structure. Many people get stuck in perpetual input mode. They're always seeking the next book, next video, next course, next technique, and they never stop to integrate. Result is information overload without real transformation. It's like eating continuously without ever digesting. Eventually you get sick. The period between now and solstice can be intensive input period for you, studying Hermetic texts, absorbing teachings, experimenting with practices. But after solstice, it may be wise to enter integration period, where you stop seeking new information and focus on consistently applying what you already learned, where you allow insights to settle, where you observe how everything manifests in your life. Thoth, as measurer of time, teaches us there's time for everything, time to plant and time to harvest, time to learn and time to apply, time to ascend and time to integrate. Mature Hermetic initiate recognizes these cycles and works with them, not against them. So as you see 444, as you feel the call, ask yourself honestly, what phase of the cycle am I in? Do I need more input or more integration? Do I need more knowledge or do I need to apply what I already know? Do I need more techniques or do I need more consistency with techniques I already have? These questions, when answered with brutal honesty, will direct you much more effectively than seeking the next secret or next activation. And finally, let me talk about community. The Hermetic path is often portrayed as solitary, the isolated initiate studying ancient texts in their tower. And there's truth to this. There are aspects of work that are deeply personal and can only be done in solitude. But there's also immense value in connecting with others on the path. In this video's comments, you'll find others who are seeing 444, others feeling the call, others committed to real work, not spiritual entertainment. And there's power in recognizing each other, in witnessing each other's journey, in sharing insights and observations, not to create dependency or artificial hierarchy, but simply to remember you're not alone, that there are other scribes of Thoth walking this path. That Hermetic tradition has always been transmitted person to person, heart to heart, through centuries, and you're part of this lineage now. So use the comments, share your observations about 444, record your intentions for December. Publicly commit to the scribe protocol, not to impress anyone, but to create external anchoring for your internal commitment. There's hermetic magic in public declaration. It solidifies intention. It invokes witnesses. It transforms vague possibility into concrete commitment. Here's what I need you to do right now. In the comments, type initiate if you're ready to start your scribe journal today. Type portal if you're committing to conscious observation on December 21st. Type sphere if you want me to create a deep dive series on each of the 7 planetary spheres from Corpus Hermeticum. Your comment does more than engage. It declares your intention to the cosmic architecture that's watching. And if you want access to deeper content, consider joining the members circle of this channel. Inside, you'll get exclusive deep dives into each of the 7 hermetic spheres with details I can't cover in public videos. You'll access frequency attunements aligned with authentic Thoth principles, not modern inventions, and you'll receive all content early, before anyone else. For those seeking real initiatic progression, not spiritual entertainment, the Members Circle is your natural next step. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next teachings, because what we're building here isn't just another generic spirituality channel. It's a space for serious students of Hermeticism who want solid foundation, verifiable sources, and real work. Thoth was called Lord of Truth. May our quest always be for truth. Verifiable, grounded, precise. This is harder than accepting any claim that pleases us emotionally, but it's the only path worthy of a scribe. 444 is calling. The window is open. But only until the solstice. Most will see the signs and do nothing. The question that matters is, will you be different? Will you build the foundation? Will you answer the call? The cosmic blueprint of your awakening is revealing itself. Don't be the one who realizes too late that the portal was open and you let it close. The choice is yours. The time is now.